Okay, so last session yesterday we discussed about some basics related to React. What is React and how we can do with that. I will upload the class. That complete example I uploaded into Classroom. No, today I will upload. Today I will upload that complete example. So the end-to-end application that I designed, I will upload that entire example today. You can get it. So the example I will upload. Today I will upload that project. So that we designed. Okay. Now, yesterday we discussed about some basics like, so first option is what is React. So technical answer, what is React? So technical answer, it is a JavaScript library. It is a JavaScript library for building user interface. It is a JavaScript library for building user interface, right? So that is the basic thing we discussed. So, and what are next important, what are the features of React? What are the features of React? So React is a JavaScript library. What are the features of React? The features of React is it uses virtual DOM that makes the interactions faster. So uses framework, uses simple data binding techniques. What are those? I will tell you. Data binding techniques supports external libraries, supports several external libraries for building effective applications. So these are some basic important features, and because you people are coming from jQuery, then you can know that routing is a good feature. Routing enables single page application, SPA. So provides good interface for building single page applications. Actually, we can build progressive web application also. For that, mobile frameworks are required actually. So React is same like jQuery only. It's also a library. So, but it is better than jQuery in so many ways. That is the reason for building effective interfaces these days. People use this React very much. And so you can see here the official website. You can observe. I already told you that React is from Facebook, right? The community. So this is the official reactjs.org. This is React. You can see it says a JavaScript library for building interfaces. Many times people have some wrong words used. Generally, they call framework. React is not framework. Angular is framework. React is same like jQuery library only. Difference between library and framework is a library can build application but cannot control the application flow. So, but framework can build application and control the application flow. Due to that, it is a wide scope more than library. So that is technical abilities you will learn when you learn frameworks. So library can build application but cannot control the application flow. Framework can build the application and can control the application flow. So generally frameworks comes under software architectural patterns, we call them. This is a library and so many features are there for this. So many features are there. How to use this, how we can build application, we will see. Actually, current version, so we are looking at React 17 version. It is minor release is 17.0.2. This is the current version and it is little bit different from previous versions because people who know already React some previous versions, actually React new version has a lot of changes. 17 version is lot of changes, but so many problems are there in React. The problems in React is one of the main problem with React is React 17 version has so many new things. Problem with React is React fast pace of development. Fast pace of development, due to that poor documentations, references are very less, and fast pace of development means I will tell you. So actually 2014 React started, and Angular also started in 2014. That means during these years only, early. Before that, it was called Angular JS and all those things. Now Angular version is 13, and this React version is 17. That means every year 5-6 versions will come. So by the time I finish this, suppose as a separate React session, so I started React session. By the time I finish React session after 1.5-2 months, so one more version will come. This is fast pace of development. Problem is developers cannot catch what is new happening until or unless they manually explore. There is no official documentation. Official documentation means what changes happened in new version. Nobody will tell you. You have to Google, you have to search. Sometimes you will find, sometimes you will not. Even official website also will not give complete. Lot of issues will be there. Poor documentations. Due to this, developer have to work hard in understanding the new things that are coming. So there is no official guide like you see here. React document is there. React document, this contains information about topics. You can learn what newly they are introducing and everything, but this is also a documentation prepared by a developer like you. He may miss some points. That is the reason they give a chance here to edit this document also. That means if you know more better than what is written there or something is missing, you can add to it. Their team will review it, verify if the content is good, they will save that content. This documentation is from community. Due to this, what happens? They will tell what is new. They will not tell what is replaced from old to new. That means in this documentation, only new option will be there. People who are working with old version and migrated to new, they will be very confused. They have to track the errors, they have to find the problems and learn by themselves. This is risky. This is a little bit risky, but anyhow, that's not an issue for developers. For developers, that is not at all issue. Why? Because they can explore. Because why? They are having experience. Many people say that, right? I have 5 years experience and I am learning technology. So I am coming here to learn a technology. Actually, a 5 years, 6 years software engineer, so he must able to learn any technology by himself. Nobody need to teach him. Understood? That means, so if a 5-7 years experienced person is also coming to learn a course, that's not satisfying. Then what? 5 years experience you have? That means you can't learn a new technology by yourself. Then that's not great. So if it is, for example, you see here in Hyderabad, why people come to Hyderabad, do you know? To learning courses from all over India. We have Bangalore, we have Chennai and Hyderabad. And people come to Hyderabad for courses. They do job search in Bangalore. Because in Hyderabad, now it's okay, but jobs when compared to Hyderabad, Bangalore, high. Rate is high. That means you will easily get in any startup companies easily in Bangalore. People learn courses in Hyderabad, they go to Bangalore. Majority. So, or you will get more opportunities in Noida, right? So, Noida or Bangalore or Pune. So, these are the locations where you can search for jobs. Hyderabad is now okay for startup companies. Now many companies are coming, but more opportunities than Hyderabad are those areas. For job searches, if you put a resume in those locations, then you will get so many calls easily. Now these days in Hyderabad also you are coming. Then people from Bangalore also come here to learn courses. Why? Because Hyderabad is the only location where a new software released means our institutes will put banner, we will teach. Yesterday, last night, they released a version. Tomorrow morning, you will see somebody is teaching it. Banner will come. From tomorrow onwards, course start. That means now, imagine the person who is training you the technology, he updates his skills overnight and delivers you. That means even the people who released that software, they don't know that somebody is teaching in Hyderabad that course, right? That means the ability of the trainer is that overnight he explores the technology, he knows what is new, what the technology is about, and he delivers to you. Who teaches them? Who will teach? That means React people will come and teach us to teach React. Then how we know the technologies? That means how trainers know the technologies. So because the point is, once you have an experience in working in so many technologies, you can explore any technology by yourself and learn. That is very exceptional skill. And generally that is the reason many people fail. Some people say that I want real-time developer as a trainer. Real-time developers cannot train, you know. A 10 years person who works on a technology, he cannot train people. He can't train, but he can do the coding. Many people fail in training because 10-15 years experienced person working on technology, he comes, he says that I will teach how to learn this technology. They fail, they can't, because they are good in coding, but they are not good in delivering the technology. Delivering technology is a great skill, That is the reason many people confuse it. Like, do you know, actually, I will show you later some pay scales here. Actually, many people ask like, why you are working as a trainer? Why you can't you work for IBM or Infosys or TCS? Do you know a experienced professional trainer, so who is delivering you technology per day 15K pay? That is per day pay for a corporate level trainer. I am telling about minimum at experience level. So at 10 years, 10 years experience person will take 15K per day, right? And for only one batch, for only training one batch at corporate level. Mediums 3-4 years experience people, they give 7K to 10K per day. Even today, for me, so many requirements comes actually. For example, I will show you. So some training requirements will be there. I will show you. I will show you the training requirements actually. So this is not my. So means I will show you official training requirements, some various locations actually. Somewhere it may be there. I have training opportunity. This is there. I haven't seen this. That means so many will be there. Some training. Some old options will be there. .NET. So training questions. Just because very recently, because I already worked for HP and Microsoft as trainer, right? So that is the reason my profile is still available with them. They will ping on me whenever a training requirement comes actually. Any commercials are defined here. Commercials not defined here. Some commercials are there. I will show you that. These are options, terms and conditions. Commercials are not in this. In somewhere, I will show you later. Because the point is in these, this is another, yeah. This is stack. This is a here, you see, commercial virtual training 7,000 per day. 7,000 per day, duration 6 months. That is the pay of trainer. This is only after all How many years experience they are expecting? I don't know. They may be expecting 2 or 3 years experience people. 2 to 5 years experience. If 15-20 years experience, he will demand 20-25K per day. Right? So that is, they are ready to pay. Companies, they pay. They are ready to pay. Right? After all, a software developer in IBM, how much he earns in 2 months? 2 months, that's it. So the point here is, but everybody cannot survive into this, cannot fit, because people who have even 15 years experience in technology, they can't deliver training. They can't train, right? They can do coding, anything problem they can solve, but they can't tell how they solve, how to solve. They can't give a proper guidance. That is the reason in software companies, see, a software company, they say that, suppose Cognizant, they have a new freshers, they recruited. For freshers, they will ask that we want trainers to train them some technology. Why? Already their developers are there, na? Train with them. Already in Cognizant, their team is there, na? Who is building projects. They can train, na? No, they can't train. They can do the work, that's it. The point here is the way of presenting the documentations, how to crack that particular concept, that is very important. If you miss the documentation, you can't crack the technology. And developers needs the documentation, and the documentation is prepared by trainers. So that means poor documentation always affects technology. That means we can't explore the technology if there is no proper solution found correctly. Solution is there, but to find it, so much work. That means generally the point here is technically the main failure of React, not failure, it's a drawback of React, is very poor documentation, because by the time they prepare a good documentation, another version will come, another version will be released. That is the problem with that. So React 17 came with so many new things. That means it came with new material concept. It came with new hooks. What are hooks? We will discuss. So it comes with the new routing techniques, which are different from the previous versions. That means once you are trying to know more about React in websites, first check which version React they are giving them. Because if it is an old version tutorial, then it is wrong. You can't try that in the new version currently you are learning here. Because the old version and new version, so many changes are there. Many people who already know React, they don't know 17. They know previous. 17 is very recent version, and so many new things added, so many changes made. That's the reason, suppose you Google for React tutorial, right? So many tutorials will come, but make sure that the React tutorial, what the tutorial is, this React tutorial is giving you information about the latest version. You see, suppose this is React.js, and you can see in React.js, this is from some website. From website, they are giving some React options. And observe here, so they are telling about some controlled, uncontrolled components like this. Controlled and uncontrolled components like class and functions and all. Actually, in the latest versions, we don't need these. In the latest version, we don't need that. We use advanced options. We don't use. See, when you go to React components, you can see In the React components category, they will give an option like class. These classes are no longer used in latest version, not required. These classes are not required, not recommended for future. That means these classes are not recommended. If you see the official documentation of React, in that they will give a suggestion that better use functions instead of class. That means the old versions React and new version little bit changed. I am giving an overview on the new version, how it works, right? Then how to create a React application, how to run, we will see that, right? For that, what is the environment? So I'm not going detail about every point here because only introduction we will see here. So first option is create React application. How do we create React application? Create React application. So for that, to create React application, you need an environment. I hope you already have environment like Node.js and everything is there. If Node.js everything is there, simple npx. So create React app. Npx create React app, and you have to define the app name. That's the npx, sorry, npx. Npx create React app and app name. So that is how we create a React application. There are so many techniques. This is enough. This is enough. There is another technique actually, or generally what people do is first install Node.js. Already we have now. After installing Node, already for the first one also you need Node.js. You install Node.js. After that you install create React app. That means we have to run npm install create React app. We have to install globally. Use -g. That is globally installed create React application. After that, what you create application. Create application, that means npx, create React app and app name. Like this you can do, but not required. You can directly do npx create React app. Right, create app. Better use the first one easily to create an application, right? Instead of installing so many things, you can try like this. Oh, let's go here. I will go into my suppose D drive and open this D drive. Command prompt, you directly open that. In command prompt, I will go to D drive and create npx create React app and the app name. Suppose I will give as React shopping, something like this, and enter. This is going to create a application for you. So it is creating a folder React shopping. In that it will add all the library required, and here generally how to run the application, what it looks like, I will tell you. So many things are there here. Once it will take some time because a lot of libraries are required. All the libraries are installed for your project, right? So once it is installed, next what you have to do, example I am giving here. So in my some D drive, I am creating npx create react app, and I give react shopping. Like this we define. Next step what we have to do is open react shopping folder in VS Code, Visual Studio Code. Right, Visual Studio Code. Now, once you open it, it is taking, yeah, it is installing. Once you open it, to start the project, to start and test application, what you have to do is in the terminal, open the terminal. In the terminal, you have to use npm start. We have to run the command npm start. It will start the project. So it will take some time. It is taking because all these libraries are installed. Now, first I will explain. By the time it creates the project, we will see infrastructure, how it works. Now application is created. Our application is generally, remember, so in the main concept, you need to understand that React is completely component based. React is component based. Component based. That means actually components are not new for us. Already we learned components concept. Components means you see in Bootstrap, jQuery, we have get Bootstrap. In Bootstrap, you see we have examples. In the examples, you see these are drop downs, footers, models. What is a model? Model is a component. What is carousel? Carousel is a component. What is accordion? Accordion is a component. So you have components already. You see components. Actually, already you have some components. You can see here. You see left side. You will see components. What are components? All we learned. Accordion, badges, buttons, carousels, drop downs, nav bars, pagination, spinners. All these are components. Now, what is a component? I hope you can guess. What is a component? Component contains a sample design, a sample logic, and sample effects. You can customize according to your requirement and you can build. What is advantage? You don't need to write much logic. Everything is ready. You have to just change according to requirements. So that is React. React is completely component based. You can build your own components. You can use ready-made components that makes application development more easy and fast. We can build applications in a more faster way without writing much logic. Without writing much logic, we can build in a faster way because component based. And best example for React is Best example for React, Netflix. Netflix is designed using React.js. Netflix, the entire front end is designed with React.js, back end with Node.js. Netflix is designed with React.js. This is React.js application you are watching. Netflix is designed with React. And see here, components already we know, right? Components already we know. What you know is here, you know that this is, so this is header component. This is header component. This is register component. Register component. What is advantage of building a component? The advantage of building a component is you can reuse. Suppose I want this register somewhere again. You see, somewhere again it is used. But we are not designing it again and again. We are designing it one and using it anywhere you want. That is component based. Not only that, so Instagram is, Facebook is completely React only. Facebook is completely React. Instagram is also completely React. Instagram, Facebook, all these, Netflix, all these front end is React. They are all component based. So the point, how we can build such component based application. So we will see that basic structure, how it works. See, the project created successfully. So it installed everything and it created successfully. And some more dependencies it is downloading. Yeah, some more dependencies it will download. Meanwhile, you see, actually, I told you that React is a single page application. Single page application means generally, so you have this browser. In the browser, we are requesting a React application. Then what happens is this React application will launch index.html. Index.html. Now index.html, so it will have some components here. Like we have login component, we have register component, we have home component, we have some products component. Like that, there can be so many components. And very important, every component is a combination of HTML. It contains styles. And it contains logic. Logic is defined in JavaScript, or people also can use TypeScript. React is used with both JavaScript and TypeScript. Logic is written in JavaScript and TypeScript. So the point is, so this component, when we have index page, here it will show login, it will show register like links. When you click on that, now what happens is this login will come and display here. Same like what we designed in our jQuery previous project, right? For that, actually what we done, we written Ajax calls. Through that we are accessing that and using it. But now we can use simple techniques for this. So it is component based. Application is designed with components, configured with components. We will see how to use this and handle it. Actually, when you start a React application, which page will come? Index. In index page, by default, every project will have a component called app component. Every project will have a app component by default. Then what happens is, whenever you start the React project, it will start with this app component. That means the first component which is displayed inside index page is app component. in the tab component. So that is how it works. I will show you the process, how it is going to handle that, how it is going to work basic here. So let's see, created successfully. That means, so it says that successfully created and the project is successfully created. Once it is created, close. Now open in Visual Studio Code, and in Visual Studio Code, we will open the project folder, open folder, and the folder in D drive, we have React Shopping and open, select folder. And you can see this is the project environment. You can see the project environment and observe the file system. Observe the file system. Now you might have got an idea why I told you this in the beginning days of designing. Right? That means many people are confused, like in my school, in my college, I learned like create one file in folder, double click, open it. Right? So then why you told us npm init package JSON and public folder, src folder, like things. So now you can see that at high level, a project is built with it automatically. You see the folder system. And now at this level, even you are learning a new technology, I don't need to explain what is package JSON to you. I don't need to explain what is public and src folder. Generally, we have to do that to the people who come to learn React like technology, which is very silly thing. Right? When we start React separately as a batch, people come to learn React. We have to explain this file system to them. They don't know what public contains. They don't know src contains, and they came to learn React. That is not great. That means in React training, so somebody is explaining the folder structures. That is all these days what you done then. All these days what web development you have learned without knowing what is the meaning of a public folder, without knowing the meaning of a package JSON. So that is the reason to avoid such kind of embarrassment from the real-time developers. We started learning like this. Right? That means why I said that we will create one public folder, one src folder, we will put files there. Even while you are practicing, you might haven't followed this. You directly created files wherever you want somewhere and right click and say open in server. You may not have taken it seriously, but in technologies like this, it's very serious. If you don't put a file in public, it is not accessible. It will not work. Right? That is the reason here we have to follow the correct standards. And no need to explain the structure. What is node modules? You know. What is public? It contains all static resources like HTML, images, everything present here. src, dynamic resources like CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, everything, SAS, all these are present there. Package JSON, Gitignore is related to online collaboration, GitHub, so that you can publish your application on cloud. I will tell you that how to publish on cloud. Now, package JSON, which contains information about metadata, right? What packages are installed, which version installed, everything is present there. Packages means libraries. Package lock JSON is nothing but it contains detailed information of every package. Every package detail metadata will be there. README is a help document. README is a help document which contains information, help about the project. And we have node modules already, we saw that, right? Now see here how to start with this. Observe how it starts. I will tell you. You see public, it contains all these options. And there is index.html. Application starts with index.html. Is it mandatory? Yes, it is mandatory. Can we change it? You can change it, but by default, it starts with index. And another important C, so SRC, all the CSS JavaScript files are here. All the CSS JavaScript files are there. Already it is having some files. How it starts, I will tell you. We will discuss about that. Okay. Now, node modules, all the project related libraries. And you see package.json, it contains all the metadata. Which version of library you are using, it will contain all that information here. So library information it will contain, right? Package lock.json, detail about every library individually, all metadata about library it will contain. So our project is ready. Now the confusion is how it starts. And when it starts, the confusion is what is coming on screen, from where that screen is coming. Already we know that whatever you see, it comes from which page? Index page. But observe carefully. Let's start this project now. How to start the project here? Open terminal, npm start. When you start, actually the project will run on server. It will be http:// and it will be 3000 the port number. It is running on the port number, and you see 3000 is the port number. It is using 3000 port number. It is using 3000 port number locally. So now you can see localhost 3000, and automatically browser opens, or you can request in the browser. And see, this is React page. This is the React home page. By default, this is the home page. From where this output is coming, we will try to understand the approach logic from where this is coming. Observe carefully. First point, the output is coming from which page? Index.html. But we will go to index.html and see. In index.html, let's go. Where is index.html? Index.html is present in public index.html. In this, see the body section. In the body section, only one div is there. In the body section, only one div is there, and the div have an ID called root. No script, already we know. No script is used to verify whether JavaScript is working or not, because if JavaScript is not working, React will not work. It's mandatory that JavaScript must be enabled. And you see here, it is having only one div. Now, that one div, how it is showing all this information? In the div, it is showing a lot of details. Some animation is coming, some message is there. That means actually what is happening, hierarchy, I will tell you more clearly. Observe. Generally, in our project, in React project, we have index.js. We will have index.js. This index.js, what it will do is, and here we have index.html. We have index.html. In this index.html, we have a div with an ID called root. I'm just explaining that here, root. Okay. Now, this is index.js, and this index.js is linked inside this index.html. It is used there. That means it is using script. It is using script src, so which is index.js, right? That is not written in the HTML page. They write that in the configuration settings, application configuration settings. Automatically it will be there. It will be defined there. Actually, now what happens is, this is having another option called app.js. App.js is a component actually. It is a component file. Every component is a JavaScript file. App.js, it actually contains logic and presentation. It contains logic and presentation, means markup, everything is present here. Now what happens is, so index.js, what it will do is, it will import app.js. We learned module system. Na? By using the module system, it will import this app.js. After that, what it will do is, by using, so document dot get element by id, so root. So that means it will get that element called root. Into this root element, root element is the index. It is root element. Into that element, it will render this output. That means whatever the result returned by app.js, that result will be rendered inside this root. That means this app.js output is shown here. That means now the hierarchy is what you are seeing in home page, where I have to edit. What I am seeing in home page, from where it is coming? It is coming from app.js. But directly app.js is being used there? No. It is app.js is added to index page by using index.js. Observe carefully here. The file you see src index.js. Index.js, you can observe React DOM rendering this app into this root folder, into the root location. That means it is rendering. React DOM means virtual DOM. It is rendering this app into this. What is that app? App is coming from this app.js. That means it is rendering this component into this root location. Go to, where is this app? Go to that location, app.js. This is app. See what is app? App is a function. This function is returning some presentation. App is a function which is returning some presentation. This presentation is returned. So what I will do? I will do one thing then. I will remove all this here. I will remove all this. And in that, what I will do is, I will put a heading. So React shopping home, like this. I will say React shopping home. I will define like this. And you can see that output will be that. That's working fine. That means from where actually the entire information is coming. So the information is coming from a component. Who is rendering that component into your index HTML, index.js. So which component? You have to define that. So here I will show you the technique now. That means how do we build our own components and design them? Let's see. So this is the basic thing. So here what you can try is go to src app.js. And modify the markup to return in index.html. Return in index.html. So that is, see, this is not React.js class. That is the reason I am giving only highlights so that you can practice. because actually for React.js classes, we will build everything from scratch. That means we will create an empty folder, we will install compilers, we will see everything step by step. That means we can design entire project environment by ourselves manually. But for that, you need to learn complete React like technology. It is very huge, right? So much is there. So in this introduction, I am giving you simply how to build an application, how to add some components and try them. That is the basic thing I am showing here. So this is the modification you have to do. I will show you now how to create our own components and use them. That means, so creating our own components, we will see components in React. So components in React. First thing, component is a set of markup styles and logic, is a set of markup styles and logic, is a set of markup styles and logic. Actually, so technically component in React is a JavaScript function, Component in React is a JavaScript function. Technically, it is a JavaScript function. It is a JavaScript function. So this JavaScript function returns JSX. It returns JSX actually. We call as JavaScript extension library. JSX. Actually, so we don't call general JavaScript. It is JSX, JavaScript extension. Why? Because it contains combination of presentation and logic. Not just logic. In JSX, lot of technical changes are there. You have to know. That means when you are designing, that means syntactically, we will write here a function. So function name, and what this function have to do, it should return and it should return some markup. That's what you have seen here. So it is going to return some markup. Actually, in this return, this is where in this return, I will give here sample. In this return, it will have the JSX. I'll just keep JSX. Later, I will write the JSX. In the return, it is showing JSX. And what is JSX? What are the rules for JSX? We will see. Example. Now see here. First thing is how to create our own component. We will see how do we create our own component. So let's go into SRC folder. In SRC folder, we don't want to disturb this environment. I will just create a new folder in SRC by name components. We will create a separate folder components. You can give any name, right? But components is reasonable, and we will create a JavaScript file. We will add a JavaScript file. I will give the name as suppose login component.js. You can give any name, but extension should be JS. You can give any name. Traditionally, in real world environment for components, because components, services, so many things will be there, all have JS only extension. So to reduce the confusion for developers, we have an habit of giving proper suffix like component.js. Okay. Now in this component, so here we need to write a function. We need to write a function. I will give the function login component. Login component. Now, as per the rules of JavaScript module system, because you are creating a separate JavaScript file means it's a module. Already we learned that. Can I access this function and use it in another module? I cannot do that. For that, we need export. You learned it. No? In a module system, you design a class or a function, anything is accessible outside only when you are configuring as export. That's mandatory. Okay. Now what it should return? It should return some markup. And I am writing here a heading. So user login. I am just writing like this. That's it. Here, so many technical points are there. I will tell you. Okay, currently it is returning this markup. Okay, now let's go to index page, index.js, because this is the page which is deciding which component to show inside root, right? Root is present in index.html. Now here we have to import the component we designed. How to import? So import the component. Now, very important, should I use curly brace or directly I can use that login component? What do you say? Should I use curly brace or directly? If I have to use directly, you remembered it should be marked as default. I told you, na? In importing modules, I told you that point. That means how modules are imported. So we can name, but module name in curly brace, if it is not defined as default. If it is defined as default, directly you can configure it. That means if it is directly defined as default, then here we can add, so login component. So from which location? /component. We can configure in this. After importing the component, now see render in the strict mode. JavaScript strict modes, you know na strict mode how it works. Here we have to use the component name. Component is written like a tag, right? What is the component name? Login component. The function name is used like a tag. That means this component will be rendered into this root. This root is present in which location? Index.html. And you can see that the login working. That means we designed a component and we are using that component there. We are using that. You can use your bootstrap, everything similar. I will show you. First point is how you design your component and configure it. So example I will give here first. First step, go to src folder and add a new folder. Add a new folder by name components. Next, add a new file into components. So I will give us some login component.js. The login component.js. The login component.js will have this. So this logic means just I am writing a function. This is the function, export default function, and the function name we are configuring. Actually, React supports components, classes, or component functions. These days in advanced version of React, we don't prefer using classes, because earlier React people know about classes and components. But in the new generation of versions, we don't prefer classes. Functions are better than classes. Earlier, people used to ask question like, what is difference between a class component, function component, which one to use according to situation? But why? Because in old version, some facilities available to class are not available to function. But in 17 version and higher, actually 16 version and higher, whatever classes can do, the same function also can do. Every feature is available with function also. That is the reason no more classes we use. No more classes we use. We use only functions. Officially, it is recommended to use functions. But React people who already learned React or learning old version of React, they know that component is designed with a class also. And class component and function component have differences. But now in the latest version, no difference. Whatever available in class is also available with function. Classes uses more memory than functions. So functions are better in performance than classes. So that is why we go with these options, right? Okay. After doing this, next step, what we have to do, go to index.js. So in src folder, in index.js, what we have to do, we have to import. Let me give you that line. So we have to import login component first. After importing login component, so here we have to, I will copy this code to you for your reference sake, right? That means we have to just make one change. What is that? This login component. Earlier it will be app component. We have to make that as login component. That's how we have to configure. Configuring the component. So that is login. To write, just you need to put that login component, right? Because everything is already predefined in strict mode, you have to replace with login component. That's it. You don't need to make any change in page, will be stable. Index.html page will be having only one div with an okay. So here that is ready. Now here, while working with JSX, while designing component, some rules are there. JSX basic rules. While designing a component, you have to follow these basic rules of JSX. One is, so JSX can present only single line, can present only single line block, can present only single line block. JSX can present only single line block. Next point, you need fragments, React fragment or HTML container for multiple lines. You need React fragment or HTML container for multiple lines. This is one important point, first basic rule. You need React fragment or HTML container. React fragment or HTML container. Now React fragment or HTML container, So here the React fragment and HTML container, how do we configure? So that means what is this React fragment and point is the concept is very simple actually. You go to login. How many lines we are returning? One line. It can return only one line. Suppose if you want a paragraph here, so welcome. So or say I will just write here user can log in from this component. You can see it's not allowing. Not allowed. Only one line is allowed. So we need a container. We need a container. That means container means nothing special. What is it? You have to put all these lines in one container. Container can be a div or a paragraph or a span. Understood? So you cannot individually write them. It can be a container, a span or div or anything. It should be a container. You can use a HTML container, but this is not a great point every time because see, it is working now. It is working now. But observe the problem, inspect. Inspect is when I go to the root here, you can see here, we can see in the root here, div root. In the div root, again a div is generated. Already div is a root. Root is a div. Inside this, again, why you are generating a div? Directly render into it. Directly render into it. In that case, if you want to avoid such additional divs, then what you can do is here you can put an empty container like this. You can write. You can put an empty fragment. So if you put an empty fragment, now in the output, you will see directly in the root heading and paragraph will come. No additional divs will come because we have to access a component in another component. In that case, lot of alignment disturbances will happen if you are unnecessarily rendering a HTML container. Containers in this way. That means you can keep div. That means you have to write like this syntactically. So you have to use return. So in return, so we have to configure a div. In the div, so here your content. Your content. So this is how we need to define. That's how. You can also use like this. So syntax, we can also use like this, return. And here we can. So your content. And you can keep that empty container. So that is how you configure that. Right. Now, next point is fragment. We have React fragments. But React fragment, we have to import from React library. React core library is present. We have to import from the React core library. We have to define React fragments. React fragments. React fragment, you can see here the React fragment we are displaying, and inside this same presentation will be there. But what is the specialty of this React fragment is it can easily track the React related issues inside this container. It will be better. It will be better. That means if any React dynamic expressions are used here, then it can easily track those issues and identify because you kept in a React fragment. It uses a virtual container for that and manages it. But not required. You can do directly by using general divs or empty containers until or unless you are not looking for some React based reference mechanism for handling the errors and issues inside the component. At development level, this is good, okay, but at production level, better use the ordinary containers, which will be easy for the markup, because at development level to track the issues, this will be good. This will be good, right? So you can use like this also. That means another syntax is we have to return, and in the return we have to use react.fragment, and you can keep your content and react.fragment and define it. Now, but actually for that you have to make sure that you import React. So that is the core library, right? From React. From React, we have to import that. Then only we can use this React fragment. It is present in a separate built-in library. You can access and use it. That is the way how you present. One more important concept here is in the JSX rules. So 2 rules you have seen. The third rule, JSX will not allow void elements. Will not allow void elements. What does that means? You know, that means the point here is, so suppose I return like this. So image source is equal to some pic.jpg. So this is invalid. So that means here important, JSX requires every element to end. Even if it is a void type. Understood? In HTML. Even if it is a void type, React cannot use it. So you should write like this: img src pic.jpg, and you can use /img, that is ending. Or you can write like this: img src is equal to pic.jpg and self-ending. Self-ending, I told you na, in HTML, people have an habit of writing like this because some technologies don't directly support. So React will not support. So that's the reason we need an end tag. We need an end tag for that. So wherever you are configuring, we need an end tag mandatory. That's important. Self-ending is very much required. Currently here, suppose I am defining some image. Suppose you see in public, I will keep some image. In public, I will open some image and keep some image in public folder. Suppose we have some DE images. Suppose some speaker. I will copy that and paste it in public. Speaker.jpg is there. And here I am trying to present here. Suppose I created here some electronics. So, and here I want to present some image. I want to create some image. I'm using img, and see automatically end tag will come. If I don't use the end tag, img src is equal to speaker. So here I defined some speaker.jpg, and you see it's error. So that means it says that, so it is not recognized. So no closing tag. But in HTML, we know that it doesn't need a closing tag. But React will not allow. So then we have to use self-ending. We can use self-ending, so or you can use end tag, right? When we can use self-ending, if no more child elements are there. If child elements are there, you can't use self-ending. You need an end tag because child elements comes between start and end tag, right? So here it is defined. That means it will present that and show to you here like this. That means we can access and we can use it. So that is the reference how we are defining here. So this is just an example for that. That means how we can configure JSX. Another important is JSX expressions. JSX expressions are defined in a curly brace like this. Expressions are defined in curly brace. JSX expressions are defined in this brace. Actually, JavaScript expressions, how they are defined, dollar curly brace. But JSX expressions are defined in this curly brace. So here, one important is the binding becomes very easy now here. That means expression means, for example, I put a paragraph and here I define edition, and I am writing like this 10 plus 20. That means it can handle the presentation and the output. It can directly handle the presentation and output. See, actually, this becomes more easy. See, suppose I'm using some inside the function, we will create a variable. I will say product. Product, I will define an object which contains product name as some JBL, some speaker like this. And product price, some price I have defined. And the stock I defined as true or false. This is some data. Actually, I want to present this data here. That means I want to say product details. I want to present. Generally, in our JavaScript to present the details, you know, lot of DOM references and all required. Here, I am creating a data list with a data term name and data definition. I use a binding expression product dot name. No more get element by ID, tag name, inner HTML, anything. Now I am just using another data term price and data definition, a binding expression product dot price, and another data term, some stock, and another data definition, then product. So here I can put an expression. If product dot stock is equal to true, then question mark, I can print available. Otherwise I can print out of stock. I can define in this way. It can able to present that information. And if that is having, suppose preview is nothing but it is having some JBL speaker.jpg. That means here I am configuring. So I am configuring data term preview and data definition image. And image is using an SRC source dynamically coming from product.preview. And width I defined as some 100 and height also defined as 100. Like this, we are configuring the value width and height 100, it will get it. This time the presentations will be more simplified and easy. Less DOM manipulations. Even collecting data from the form and displaying, we will see how we can present in a more simple way, right? How the presentation can happen. This is binding expression. That is another example here. Expressions are defined in this way. This is an example for binding expression. Now, once you know this, we will try one small example. How to present the data coming from API, how we can use routing one small example so that you will get a clarity how single page application is simple in React when compared to jQuery. That we'll see on Monday, right? On Monday session, we will see a complete small example of React app. Our own components we will build. Then we can go for, we will see how the difference will be there from jQuery. Okay. So Monday we will continue.